Okay, hello fellas, how you doing today, YouTubers? I'm just coming to you with a short video because I've seen on some of these sites, quite a few actually, where people are using all kinds of different things to make their own followers out of selfie sticks. And what I haven't seen, maybe I just haven't looked, long enough, but I haven't seen anybody using a pipe cutter to do these cuts. And to me, being an old maintenance worker in the plants and stuff for many years, a pipe fitter, electrician running a conduit and all kinds of things, you come to appreciate the value of a pipe cutter. For one thing, it gives you a nice straight cut first time, every time. It also turns in the edge a little bit, which I find kind of nice for doing this lock work. And so I'm just going to go ahead and demonstrate on one of these tubes. I really don't have one to waste, but I'm going to go ahead and cut back a little bit on this one because the edge down here, well, there's really no problem, but I just need to go ahead and cut one for you guys to show you, to give you an example. But boy, like I said, I just don't have really any to waste. What I love is just how I get these straight cuts on there once I do use this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and show you. Now you have a little one. This is for doing brake lines and such things as that underneath the car when you don't have a lot of space and you need to spin it. But when you're working with something like this, especially with a harder steel that's kind of thin, you really don't get a lot of control with this one. So I'm not going to use that. Now this one doesn't have any wheels on the top, and really it doesn't cause me that much problem. But sometimes when I'm making a cut with this one, if I'm not paying attention, it will wander off from that. But just to go ahead and show you what the procedure is, if you've never used a pipe cutter, you just take this right here, you set it on the mark that you want. You can see where the wheel will come up there. Now I'm not going to take a lot off of this because this is one that I use, but I will go ahead and cut this one. And so you go ahead and you just tighten that up until you just start to feel just like if you were putting tension on a lock. You don't want to go in too deep, but you don't want this thing to wiggle around either. You see how that's doing that a little bit? But that's just because of the wheel. Now let's make one turn and check it. You can see where the score mark was with the wheel, but I'm still just a little worried about this not staying on the mark. I'm going to turn this over and let you guys watch it. Now I'm going to go ahead and screw that in a little bit more. Each time I make a circuit, I'm going to go around it, and it's going to get harder for me to hold on this end. Now you can see what's happening. You see what's going on here? The wheel is not staying in that. That's why I don't like this cutter right here. But I did want you to see that, because that can happen if you're not paying attention. It's not staying on the one, it's just moving around. So we're not going to use that one. Haven't used this one in a while. I'm going to try this little one. Now the good thing about these ones is they have rollers on the bottom, so you just get the feeling that you have a more secure cut, See if I can get that in that same spot there. Okay, now when you tighten this one, you're getting the two rollers on the bottom, and the knife on the top is going to be cutting, and that just feels just a little more secure when I'm going around it. One thing I like about this one is you can just get a hold of it. Let me see, we're still not staying steady in one line. Got to be able to get that first groove started. That one's moving around on me too. I just can't control those little ones, but I don't have to because I got this one. Now I'm going to use this one because this is one I've relied on for a long time, and I know that it gives me straight cuts. The other ones would too, but this is a flexible tube, and when you press down too hard, it kind of squeezes the tube, and that's where I'm running into some troubles with this. But we're going to try it again. We're going to put it right there about where that other mark was. This time I'm going to come in just a little. Now on this one, let's say if you had done a rivet and you didn't like the way it turned out, well, this one you can keep it in the groove right there. because this will run along an edge. That's why I like this cutter. This cutter is high quality. Now you can just see where that first score on that one made a nice thing, and it just runs right along there. What is the old rule? You get what you pay for in tools. Okay, you want to make sure that's not traveling. Tighten it up a hair. Just want to go little turns at a time. You'll feel this start to squeeze on that pipe. Now I've got a good groove started, so I'm going to go ahead and run it around there a couple of times. You can see, don't go too heavy with your cut. Always just an eighth of a turn. You see what I'm doing there? Barely turning that. Now what will get hard is trying to hold this end down here. It might even try to dig into your hand. So the best thing to do for that, either put on a leather glove or something, you know, one of your work gloves, mechanical gloves, so that it won't cut your hand. Excuse me. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use a pair of special, you can use pliers, just don't squeeze too hard, don't bend your tube, don't get it out around, that would just ruin it. Even with flex steel, you can get it out around, you know. So I'm going to go ahead and these are tools that are made for crimping the end of cables fasteners. So I'm going to just go ahead and get a hold of that, and I'm not going to have to squeeze that real hard, but that will give me better control of what I'm trying to do. Now you can see that nice groove that I have started, so that the pipe cutter is going to stay in that groove. It's not going to come out again. We're just going to give it a little at a time. Some people like to go back and forth with their cutter. On something this thin, I don't even worry about it. Remember, your clamp is not closing. It's the blade that's coming in. So you're not disturbing anything as far as this. Just keep a good grip on your plier. Well, if you're using pliers, just don't squeeze too hard. Mine, because of that way it was made for that thing, it just holds real good. Now you heard that? That means the metal is starting to cut, starting to give. Nothing wrong. It's just squeezing the end that's cutting. There we go. You can see the metal starting to give. I don't want to just take and stop and just peel that off. I could, but then I would have a rough edge. The whole purpose of using this pipe cutter is to get a nice clean cut. And the bevel, it'll turn the edge in a little. You wait and see. You're going to love it. Only thing that's holding it right now is that little groove, kind of deep in there. I could stop right now and just work that off. Okay, loosen it up. Slide it right off. If you have to, open it all the way. Take it right off of there. It opens up plenty wide. Now I'm going to show you what this little point on the end here is for. If we were working with conduit or something, see that's where it's pinching, just where it doesn't get in there real deep. We'll just look at that. See that? That is a perfect cut on these things. It's nice and straight. There's not going to be any worry about it being, you know, square. And just to check that real quick, I'm going to pull something that I keep in my bag just for this purpose right here, one of my small bags. I'm going to take a little square, and we're going to see where I had that. There's just a teeny indentations, but it doesn't mess it up and scratch it up real bad. But I want you to look at this. You see that? That is as square as a cut you're going to get, and you're just going to have a hard time getting that with a Dremel or an end grinder or any kind of cutting tool. A hacksaw would just hack it up. But with this pipe cutter, you just don't get any cleaner than that. Look at that, man. That's square as they come. And I might just, if this one wasn't square, I'd re-square this end. But it's okay too. You can see there's no daylight behind that. So that's how you get a nice clean cut on your homemade followers out of a walkie stick, a selfie stick. So if go out to the hardware store and get yourself a good pipe cutter, because if you're going to be making your tools down through time, or for other people, or even trying to sell them, this will give you accurate cuts every time, and then get you something. You don't have to have these, of course. This is for a special tool, but you know, get you something that will clamp around the little pipe and hold on to it. Don't crush it. Won't scar it up too, you know, and then make yourself some followers. Okay? All right, then we're going to stop the video. I just wanted to just throw this little how-to video out there for my followers. Okay? Have a good day. Okay, YouTubers, I thought I'd come back and just give you an example of what can be done as far as using the tube cutter. I had a selfie stick that I've had for the longest, just laying around here. As a matter of fact, I made the first couple of videos with a piece of the tubing that I had taken out of that particular selfie stick. So I decided I would go ahead and make myself a set. And so I'll go ahead and just show you what I put together here. Let me get this top off. Now what I got inside of here is the complete all the tubes that came with this selfie stick. This is the bottom, and I don't know if I'll ever have it, or if I'll be working on any locks that big, so I went ahead and just left it the way it was to just compact all this. Now on this first tube, just to make it more easy and more identifiable, I put this little piece that I had, little rubber piece that I had in there, just so I could get it out and extract it a little easier. And then each one just came out just perfectly. I've straightened the edges and made sure that they slide fairly well. This one ain't not doing too good, but anyway, they all work pretty good, and I think over time getting used that they'll be just fine. And so anyway, the little dimples that you see, that's not going to bother the way these work at all. They just simply will do fine. Here is where you want to be concerned with, is that going to be square when you come up against that other one? And when you cut with the tube cutter, with the pipe cutter, man, it just you're not going to have the problem that you know that you have with some of these other ones. They're going to be nice clean cuts as long as you do it the way I showed you, and just be careful. You shouldn't destroy too much of it. You don't want to. I have to be careful because I can't just go out and afford to buy all this stuff. That's why I make a lot of my own stuff, and I certainly don't want to destroy something that, if I don't make this tool out of it, then I would probably use it, because I do a lot of videoing. So in other words, I don't like to be wasteful with anything. But these followers will do just fine, and I'm certain of that. But the way to achieve that is just like I said, just get yourself a pipe cutter. But don't spend too much money on something like that. You can probably get something like that very cheaply at a flea market. That's where I would go to look for one. Let me see. I might have to straighten up this end on this one a little bit. It's giving me a little trouble. That's just wasn't in there right. Sometimes you gotta just leave it apart, huh? And then once you get it all back together, it looks pretty good. I've used the other one, like I said. Well, you guys watched me put that last lock back together with it, so they work fine. And then once you're done with it, you just put it back in the kit that you've made for yourself. Now, if you want to slide in and out really, really easy like that, then you just have to hit the groove on the other one. But if you want to be just a little more secure, then you can just leave that or turn that just a little bit, and then that won't just go falling out on you, and it'll give you something that'll kind of hold as you try to pull your other tubes out. Then when you want it to slide back in, you turn it to that groove, and it'll slide right back in there real easy, okay? Now, I couldn't find a cap, so I just I searched everywhere. And when I cut this tube back, I wanted to build it up just a little bit for this piece of plastic that I had found, this little plastic tubing that I had found. And so it didn't, I had to cut, it was just tubing, so I had to cut this open end. I just put 2 pieces of tape over the top of it, and then I took that rubber that I took off the other end, and I slid it across the top of that because it was just a perfect fit, stretch fit. And that held the tape down, and that's how I wound up with a custom fit top. And it just fits beautifully like that. So there you go. You got yourself a follower set from a a selfie stick with its own custom case, and looks pretty good, you know. So there you go. That's what you can do when you start making your own tools. All right, that's it. Talk to you later.